So today I'm going to be filming my labour and delivery video. As you know, I've had my baby now and she was born on the 9th of November at 4:44 AM in the morning. So I thought I'd quickly show you her because this video is going to be pretty long. Isn't it, Ellie? This is Ellie. Hello. Hi. She's a bit grouchy because she's due a feed pretty soon, so I'm hoping she'll sleep throughout this video. Otherwise I'll have to quickly feed her then film again. But yeah, so it's taken me a week and a bit to film this because it's just been so hectic, and obviously if you're a mum you will know how kind of busy your life becomes. Ellie is now a week and 4 days old, so I can't believe how quick the time goes. Like, she's nearly 2 weeks old. Okay, so I'm gonna get started because it's quite a long story. So on Wednesday the 6th of November, I've got some notes down here. Me and Paul went to Mothercare because we were bored and we just wanted to get out of the house. So we went to Mothercare and we were quite a long time there, obviously just walking around and doing basically nothing. And I noticed that my underwear was a bit wet, which is probably too much information. But when I got home, obviously I checked and I knew it wasn't obviously like discharge or anything. It was clear and there was quite a lot of it, but not a lot where I thought, oh, my waters are broke. I'm just gonna lay it here quickly. There we go. So I thought nothing of it and Paul was like, no, I really think you should go to the hospital and get it checked out. So we did, and we went that evening because I think we came out of Mothercare quite late in the afternoon. So I went to the hospital that evening and got them to check and everything. They done a fluid test on me to check if obviously my waters did go, and she did get some fluid from me. So she said obviously my waters didn't go like a big gush, but I think there's like the back waters and front waters. My back waters went, so it was kind of gradually over time that they went. But yes, my waters definitely went that day on Wednesday. She said on that Wednesday if I didn't go into labour naturally by myself, then I'd have to get induced. So I went home and I was praying that contractions would start and everything. I was bouncing on my birth ball. I was doing everything I could to kind of bring on labour naturally. Nothing happened, so we were getting induced. So the next day, which was Thursday the 7th of November, that was the induction. I went up there about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, she's fidgeting on you. They started me off on the tablet first, which I can't pronounce, Proglandin or something, but the tablet that is supposed to kickstart labour. I was on that for quite a long time. I think I was on it for a whole day, and nothing happened. Like nothing. I wasn't getting no contractions, just nothing. So that basically failed. And then the labour ward was busy at that time, so they kind of put me on delay, which I was really annoyed about because obviously if you're being induced it's a long time as it is, but delaying it is even worse. It just felt like I was there for hours. But finally they moved me up onto the labour and delivery ward, and they started the drip on me. And I'm not sure what the actual drip was called, but it's a hormone drip. And there's kind of different dosage of it. They put me first on like a low level to see if obviously I could cope and the baby could cope, and obviously her heart rate could have dropped or anything. So first of all they kept me on a low dosage of it, and I was contracting quite well and the baby was handling with it, so it did work, the drip, but very, very slowly. So gradually over time they were kind of putting the level up of the hormone drip to get contractions more regular and everything. And every 4 hours they would check me, do the examination. I ended up going to level 8 on the drip because obviously nothing really was happening. I was having really strong contractions, but they weren't like outrageous. I could handle them, and even the midwives were saying to me, like, you're having quite an intense contraction, like, are you okay? And I was like, yep. So I was having the gas in there though, because I was feeling a lot of back pain due to the contractions. But anyway, so 4 hours into the drip they examined me and I was only 1 centimetre. So I went through 4 hours of contractions with no progress at all. I was pretty annoyed about it and I couldn't really do much, so they said in the next 4 hours we will examine you again, and because I was on a higher level, level 8, they thought I would progress a lot more quickly. So 4 hours later they examined me again. At this point I was completely shattered. Like, I was on the tablet for 12 hours and then I was on this drip for 8 hours without any sleep. I was just exhausted, and I thought, if I do have to deliver this baby, I'm going to be too exhausted to push. Like, I was so tired. And Paul as well, he was absolutely shattered. Anyway, so 4 hours later they checked me again and I was only 2 centimetres. So at this point I was absolutely fuming. I was like, this baby's not coming out. And I didn't want to be on the drip anymore. I was so miserable, I was so emotional. I must have cried about 10 times. I'd just break down crying because I felt like it isn't going the way that I wanted it to, which is, you know, that's normal. You do a birth plan and it never ever goes to plan unless you're lucky. So yeah, I was having about 5 contractions every 10 minutes, so they were coming quite frequent and they were lasting quite long. But obviously nothing was happening down there. I wasn't dilating enough, and obviously when your water goes it's very dangerous for them to leave me for over, say, 24 hours because me or the baby could get an infection. So when they told me I was 2 centimetres, I begged them for a C-section. They kind of hesitated first, but then they kind of realised, well, she has been gone a while after her waters are broke. So the doctors came in and they did advise me that I'd have to have an emergency C-section. At this time I was like, that's absolutely fine, like, just get her out of me. I was just so tired and I wanted to meet her, and I just knew she wasn't ready to come out. Like, if I couldn't have carried on being examined and everything because there was just literally no progress. So due to a foul induction, that's the way they put it, I had to have an emergency can't get my words out, C-section. So that was at Friday night at 12 AM. exactly 12 a.m. they told me, okay, you're going to have a C-section. After 12 a.m. there was a few women in front of me going into theatre, because obviously they were emergency C-sections as well. So again, I was put on hold after these women. But finally, after I think it was a few hours, so I still could have got an infection or the baby, they prepared me and wheeled me down for theatre. And I actually was okay. Like, I thought I'd be a lot worse than what I was. I think it was because I was just so exhausted. I knew it would happen anyway. But I was terrified. I was shaking and I was very, very tired. Obviously they put the epidural in me and it completely numbed me from the waist down in like 2 minutes. And then it was all kind of a blur. It happened very, very quick, and I remember just waiting for Paul to like walk in. I couldn't wait to see him. I was like, that 10 minutes of them preparing me seemed ages. So anyway, they put the screen up and then obviously they cut me open. I couldn't feel that because I was so numb. But this is where it all kind of went a bit horrible for me. Obviously if you've had a C-section you'll know exactly what it's like, but I felt so much pressure and so much tugging that I had a panic attack during the C-section, and it was horrible. Like, I'm still having trouble sleeping because I can just picture what it was like. And basically the only way I can describe it is I felt like someone was under my ribs and under my lungs, and they were pressing so hard to get her out that I couldn't breathe. Like, I was screaming, like I was going, I can't breathe, help, help, like shouting. All the doctors were running around me going, they thought it was my heart, and I was trying to explain to him like, I can't breathe. They even said it to me. They were going like, we might be a bit longer because we're having trouble getting her out. And she was quite a big baby for me. She was 7 pounds 9 ounces and I've only got a small stomach, so I can't believe the cut was like only that big, and I can't believe they got her out of that kind of space. But yeah, there was a lot of tugging and a lot of pressure, and every C-section that I've watched on these programs, like One Born Every Minute, the women are so calm, but I was the complete opposite. I was having a panic attack. I was like, I cannot breathe. They put the gas mask on me and they were just putting every single drug into my system because they thought I could feel everything. They thought I could feel them slicing me open and everything, but I couldn't. I just felt a lot of pressure. I felt like someone was pushing on my heart. But anyway, so that 10 minutes seemed like an hour. It was just horrible. But she screamed, like that's all I was hearing for. I was just looking out for that scream. And if you've gone through it, you'll know exactly what it's like. But you just wait for that cry or that scream. And she did scream. She was a big screamer, weren't you? And yeah, they stitched me back up and they took her straight to the little like incubator thing to check her over. She was absolutely fine, and then they handed her to Paul for the first cuddle, which was just so emotional. Like, I just could not stop crying. I was just so glad it was over, and she was so healthy. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with her. She looked perfect. So yeah, her weight was 7 pound 9 ounces, and she was born at 4:44 in the morning. So, and she's just absolutely perfect. She has got tongue tie. If you don't know what that is, there's a little kind of string attached to your tongue, and she was born with trouble with that, but they said to us you can get it snipped at any age, and you don't even have to have it snipped only if they have trouble feeding, which she's not having trouble feeding at all, but it can affect their speech when they're older, so we might look into getting that done because I don't want her, you know, having trouble with her speech or anything. But yeah, that is basically my labour and delivery story. Obviously I planned to go into the birthing centre because I thought my labour would happen naturally and my waters would break on their own, and they did break on their own, but no contractions started. But it was the complete opposite, and it ended up in a C-section, but I wouldn't have been able to give birth because I was just completely exhausted, and she wasn't ready. She could have stayed in there a lot longer, couldn't you, baby? But yeah, she's a good weight. She's a very good weight. Aren't you? Are you a good weight? Are we going to show the cameras? Say hello. So yeah, I'm looking to do a day in the life of a newborn pretty shortly. I've just been so busy. I've had so many visitors and everything, so I found it very hard to film a video. But yeah, she's eating very well. They say newborns or like a week old are supposed to be having 2 to 3 ounces, but she actually has 4. Like, she is a big greedy guts. But yeah, the midwife came to weigh her and she only lost an ounce, but she's put that ounce on already, so she's doing really well. And her umbilical cord came off yesterday, and yeah, she's getting so big already, aren't she? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will try my best to get some more videos filmed. I'm kind of doing weekly updates of her as well. But yeah, let me know who you think she looks like as well. So many people are saying she looks like Paul. I can't see it myself, but yeah, she's got my nose for definite. She's got my button nose. Okay, so I'm going to feed this little one. You gonna say bye? You gonna say bye? And I will speak to you all soon. Bye.